Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. 8 months later, a lot has happened since then. Today, we're coming from Dr. Ali's office, and last time we were home, the first time we were in another place. So I guess it's a tradition that we do it in different places every time. But firstly, I'd like to introduce our guests. Obviously, Dr. Ali Fakhruddin.
Hello, everyone.
And Miss Maysoon Younis.
Hello, Hamza. Hi.
Maysoon, since you're a first-time guest over here, could you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Hamza, first for inviting me. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here with you today and with Sheikh Ali on this podcast. My name is Maysoon Younis, as you rightly mentioned. I am a Jordanian by birth, and I was raised there in Jordan. I studied architecture and was a professional architect actually before I moved to the UAE in 1998. 1998, my husband, who has just finished his MBA, decided he wanted to work in the dot-coms. It was the dot-com era at the time, and he's quite an entrepreneurial person. So he moved to Abu Dhabi. He had a job offer from Abu Dhabi, and he decided to leave Amman. And as it is traditional for us, we follow our husbands at the time. I had to leave my practice. I had a practice in architecture and to come to the UAE. I was not as looking forward, to tell the truth, because I really liked what I was doing. But very soon I found a job in Abu Dhabi, and I started my work here and my life here, and I fell in love with the country that we today, 27 years later, call home. In 1999, I had
the year I was born.
Yeah, I had my first son. And the opportunity came. Architecture was very demanding, and I had to make a choice of what kind of a mother I wanted to be. And the opportunity came to start working on a project in the fragrance industry, and that's how I started the journey in this beautiful industry of ours.
So Man was your first job in the perfumery industry?
Actually, no. I started first. A client of mine wanted to launch their brand of fragrances. They trusted me, and they said, if you take care of the project, we will invest and we will create a fragrance line. And that's how I started in the fragrance industry, knowing nothing about fragrances except for what I was using and what my mom was using. And today, yes, 25 years later, as you rightfully mentioned, I am the managing director of V Magnifice in Dubai. And I lead the team here that takes care of the Middle East region.
So I just want to, before we start into a conversation, I just want to introduce the topic that we're going to be discussing about. So the topic we've chosen to discuss about today is risk versus rizq. Risk, as most of you probably know, is the act of doing something in uncertainty. So it's introducing yourself to danger and kind of venturing out into the unknown. There's an aspect of something that you don't know that is going to happen, right? And rizq, which is an Arabic word, which maybe in Hindi means rosy roti, as commonly said. In English, there is no direct translation. I don't think so, but I think one of the words that I saw online that was used was provision. I think provision is a okay word to describe it, in my opinion. I'd say maybe sustenance, what you earn, your livelihood. I think there's a lot of aspects to risk which is not really captured by any single word in the English dictionary. So for me, I'd say like it's basically everything you earn, material and non-material. So my first question, how did you learn to take risks? What gave you the ability to kind of be flexible and maneuverable and give you the ability and the courage to take risks?
It's a very good question. Thank you, Hamza, because it takes me back to younger age. And I love also the way you have connected the rizq and the risk, because they are actually
Intertwined.
very intertwined. Yes. The belief in rizq absolutely supports taking risk, because the belief in rizq, it means that you accept that you are not in full control of whatever you earn or make in life. And no other human being either is in control of what you make and earn in life. So this belief in the concept of rizq gives you a lot of supports entrepreneurship and taking risk. Yeah. It actually supports, because on one side it says you are not in control and no one else is in control. On the other side, there is also the belief that you have to seek rizq, as-sa'i in Arabic, which means you have to continuously try and work in order to get it. So it's not that it is granted, without an effort. So I think between al-rizq and as-sa'i, there's a continuous call of action. You need to keep moving, you need to keep trying. So my risk-taking journey and risk-taking ability comes actually from my belief in the need to continue working and trying and acting on it. This is, I believe that standing still is paralysis by fear, is the worst thing that can happen. So as long as you keep trying, it's up there, you're gonna reach it, you're gonna get it.
I think you were saying to me yesterday that, there's a quote from Sheikh Muhammad, I think you were telling me, that is...
Risk and risk are two factors, very closely knitted, but there has to be a faith. A faith plays very important role. That is my belief. When you're taking a risk, believing in risk. So I think what you asked me, like, I'm actually, if I go back in time, and the journey of my family or the journey of my father, which started in this part of the world, I'll be just taking you back in time, and I mean it takes me also back in time and makes me.
Both of you are going back in time, and
so really it's like such a nice feeling, that you remember the roots. So just as he asked me the question, it takes me back to my father, who was in India, who lived in India, okay, and took a huge risk in 1960s. It's a long time, when there was nothing in this part of the world. At that point of time, my father had a faith. My father had blessings from His Holiness Sayyidina Tahir Saifuddin, who gave him 5 rupees and asked him to go to the Arab world. So my father, with the faith in him, he took a huge risk, leaving back all the family behind, and he traveled to this part of the world where he doesn't know what's going to happen, doesn't have anything in his pocket, and started that journey. So this is where I believe that it's about risk and risk.
Is this where you learned that ability to kind of...
That was my first lesson. I mean, it came to me as a DNA for me, for my father, who teach me that how to take a risk. And this is one of the biggest risks which he took, believing, having faith, come to this part of the world, and working very hard with honesty, with dedication, started from zero in the journey with my father, my brothers. So if you ask me how did I learn to take risk, then I would say that I learned to take risk from my father, with having a faith in him, believing in yourself, faith. He teach me to have faith in myself, and then my brothers who worked with my father during this journey, and then they further taught me to be brave. So we say that in the business or anything in your life, you have to be brave to take the risk. So I learned from my father and my brothers to take this risk, and today if I go a little bit then further down, like I have studied in Dubai, I finished my studies, and I had an opportunity to go to USA and have further studies. I had two options. One was the business, which was established by my father and my brother, and that business was doing good. Okay, but there was a great opportunity of the growth in that business, and at that point of time, normally we always do anything with the permission and with the blessing of His Holiness, and the option was for me to join my business, and with the faith, I took the risk in joining the business and supporting and
foregoing the opportunity to study abroad, correct?
Yeah, and then and my father told me one thing, that the business is the actual business is the biggest university. What you learn in the practical life, of course, education helps. He was never against education, or none of my family is against the education. But it was the demand of the time. It was, like you say, that there is always a moment in your life where you have to make a decision, and that is again a risk you take. I think risk is in every aspect. In every step of your life, there is a risk. And but yes, again, you believe in yourself, have faith in yourself, have faith in Allah, have faith in whoever you believe as your God. So, and then jump into it, and He will give you. But we should not think of becoming a millionaire, overnight millionaire.
I think this touches to the point that Maysoon was also saying, that you need to put in the effort, you need to put in the hard work.
Yes, so this is very important what Maysoon mentioned. So I mean, I'm also getting inspired by Maysoon with her journey, starting the way she started and today where she is. It's really inspiring, and I learned from you as well, Maysoon. Actually, to be honest,
thank you, Ali. Thank you. We always every day we learn from each other. That's for sure.
Also, I learned from everything. So, like I said about the education is about learning on every step. I mean, I learn from my people, I learn from child, I learn from a small baby also. Okay? A newborn baby also teaches me something. So, you have to be always a learner. And if you allow me to continue, I'll continue. Like, in the business, you are taking a lot of risk, and you would ask me that, how do you take risk? Am I right, Hamza? Yeah.
But if you allow me, Hamza, to build on what Sheikh Ali just said, I love his perspective that every time in life we have a choice to make. We are, by taking a choice and leaving the others, actually we are taking risk. And definitely it must be an informed and calculated risk. However, risk is part of day-to-day life. And that's why I believe today it's well established that for leadership, the most important value is courage. You need to have that because, you take risk on people you employ every day. I'm gonna go back a bit in the lane of memories, following Ali's path. Because I have never told you this story before, Ali.
Oh, that would be nice to listen.
My father is a chemical engineer, and he went to university in Istanbul, in Turkey, and there he met my mom, who was a pharmacist. And both of them are migrants because my dad left and his family left Palestine 1948, and they were living in Jordan at the time. So they lost everything they had and they had to start all over again. And my mom also, they were made refugees because Cyprus, my mom is Cypriot, is also a very unstable place. So when my parents got married and moved to Jordan, they had to start quite from zero with their education, of course, which was a big thing at the time. My father went into the petrol industry, which was starting newly in the region. And my mom worked first for others as a pharmacist and then opened her own small pharmacy. Indeed, I lived my childhood watching my parents try to create a life for their own self, almost from zero, except for that educational piece. And the motto at our house was always to keep doing and keep trying. I think the most important piece of taking risk is accepting failure and believing, that failure will happen and it must happen. You can't win you can't, get it right every single time.
I agree with you. Yes, absolutely.
So, and that's, when you believe in Rizq, when Rizq is part of the mental ecosystem, of ideas in your head.
So the failure is also by taking a risk, you fail sometime. So that failure is also a risk. Because of your risk, you failed. But you have to understand that the risk was learning. From your failures, you learn. And maybe you have something bigger coming your way. So this is again about the faith you will have to have, taking a risk, and then whatever risk you get, success or failure, both are risk.
Yeah.
So this is what even I believe. I agree with you.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, learning is one thing, but also emotional agility. You don't get stuck. You don't stay down. You need to keep doing. Absolutely. Because it is there for you. But you need to find, maybe it was not the best way, maybe it was not the best idea. But,
I would share my experience in the business, in the whole journey. I have taken a lot of risk, and it's not that all my risks have been success. So, I have started a few operations in other part of the world which did not succeed. So, we failed. But for me, that was also, alhamdulillah, I was like, okay, this is the risk for me to fail here, but it taught me something, that this is how you need to do better. And then from those learning and from those failure, we did better things.
This comes back to the emotional agility part, where you didn't get bogged down, you didn't start disbelieving in yourself, where that, I failed now, I can't do anything else, I've lost everything, this, that, so I think this is a very important point of risk taking.
You don't judge yourself. It's not that I am a failure, it's that this operation failed because I am not in full control. No one else is in full control, so I can recover. I have to try again.
Absolutely. You have to work hard, you have to work with honesty, dedication, and rest leave it to him. Your risk is your naseeb. That will come, whatever it is. But yes, the naseeb will not come by just sitting in a room and enjoying and you think that it will come. No. You have to work very hard. You have to work towards it, put an effort, and then the doors will open for you. So I think that is what I strongly believe.
I think this is perfect because it kind of brings me to my next topic that I wanted to touch. Which is, what makes a good risk? What is a good risk? What is a bad risk? What is a calculated risk?
This is a little tricky. So I think we can start something. I'm sure Maysoon, you will help me in this. Calculated risk. So I think calculated risk is something. Obviously, you take a larger risk. Example, if I give my example, that we were always traders. We were never in the industries. Okay? So one fine day we took a large risk and entered into the industries. believe me, I had no idea, how I am going to run this factory, right? So that was a larger risk. But when I started the factory, and then I started developing the products, developing the product line, that was a calculated risk. And that calculated risk comes by your experience, by your learnings, by your hard work, by my interaction, by my research, my communication. Like I said, that we learn on every step. So for me, when I was traveling, when I was interacting with my suppliers, with my customers, with anybody, even believe me, when I'm sitting in a plane talking to a person next to me, also I was learning. When I go for a shopping, when I go in a supermarket, when I'm going with when Hamza was small, I learned from Hamza so many things. So, on every step, and the elders, of course, also from my daughters, I learned from my daughters as well, and so the calculated risk comes with the experience, with the learnings, and I think that, I hope you'll agree with me, Maysoon.
The learning and the gut. But
What
what learning does? Learning actually, eventually, it sinks in and it becomes a second nature.
Absolutely.
When you do and you redo and try and retry, and what you learn, it becomes a second nature, and it builds up your ability to judge situations. And if you are connected with your emotions, if you are, you are more able to take risk. And it is a calculated risk and there's a lot of research, Hamza, that shows that if you overcalculate, actually sometimes you go completely wrong.
Absolutely.
It's you need to trust also on that accumulation of knowledge that came over the years and experiences of life that enables you to trust your feel in any situation, to stay connected and to trust your feeling and to move and to take that risk.
Again, this circles back to the point that nobody is fully control any situation, right?
That's I think what helps you to jump off the cliff when the moment comes, because it is scary. And in that sense, I would love to speak about Ali, because Sheikh Ali has been, so in life, of course, also people have different appetite to risk. Now, there is risk and there is recklessness. So my appetite to risk, for example, is not comparable to Ali's appetite. And I give him this, and I have been working with him for the last more than 15 years, and I have been observing. And I learned myself at the beginning, because he has a higher appetite to risk than mine, I used to be sometimes uncomfortable and trying to hold him. Sheikh Ali, did you think of this? Sheikh Ali, did you think of that? And trying to show him the
I appreciate.
Yeah, maybe this or that, But then I learned over time, and I understood that, of course, Sheikh Ali is a very responsible person, and that there's no recklessness. So I would say maybe the opposite of calculated risk, which is a very good thing, is recklessness. And I believe that the belief in risk also protects you from recklessness. Why? Because it's not only yours. You are also providing to your family. You are providing to your employees. You are providing to your community. So it's not only driven by the selfish, want to own or to gain. It's actually taking every stakeholder into consideration.
Sorry to interrupt you. So when you say about the employees, this is another thing which I also believe, that many people tell me, and in the company also, that tell me that you believe a lot in your people. You trust a lot in your team. So, if you see realistically, that is also a type of risk, that when I delegate something to my team, I believe in them, and I take a risk there, allowing them to do what they want to do for the company. And alhamdulillah, that also has paid me off, that I have a beautiful team, and who are now, they have also started learning to take risk. And as a head of the department, the juniors also are working in the same way. So alhamdulillah, overall it's like it comes from the top, and then it becomes a culture. And today, if I see as an industry, my industry, my whole team has become entrepreneurs. So my top manager has become entrepreneur because he wants to achieve, he wants to make happen, because I gave him that authority and I believed in him.
I cannot agree more, Ali, and it takes me a bit, I can build on your story with my own story of joining MAN. So imagine MAN, I approached MAN in 2003 with the idea of opening an office in Dubai. By that time, I have realized that there was a lack of a dedicated creative resource for the Middle East. The market was not yet there, and all the fragrance houses were not really focused on the region. They were doing it as it comes, more or less.
It's like a side thing.
And coming from architecture and recognizing the importance of creativity, I saw the void in the market. That plus, of course, having researched and understood the Arabic perfumery and how different it is, the deep, long heritage that really takes a knowledge to be able to create and build on. I said, okay, there is a gap there. So I created a small business plan. Arturetto Lendi at the time was Rizq for me. He was sent into my life, to help me learn and advance on this industry. And we went and we approached different companies advocating, let's open office in Dubai. Here's a perfumer who knows very well the region. Here's a person who can actually manage the venture. So guys, come. At the time we met MAN in 2003, but MAN, they did not move on. They were not yet ready. But in 2005, they called us back when they were ready, and they entrusted us.
I have met Mr. Man, and I believe that he has the same philosophy.
Absolutely. It's an entrepreneurial company. Despite it's a fourth generation.
Absolutely. That's what I have seen. Mr. Man, Samantha, and everyone, I think they are. That's why I think the synergy between us works, because we are on the same wavelength. As Man has the same mentality, that they believe in their people, they believe in their. So I have seen Maysoon, you also being although you're working for Man, but I feel that you are Man.
Thank you.
And you are such an entrepreneur,
Thank you. No, that's because can you imagine in 2005 taking a risk on a woman who does not speak French, who lives, and is gonna establish an affiliate 5,000 miles away, who's an architect, is not a chemist, is not someone from the industry. It takes a lot of faith.
It's an amazing journey. It really is. And I think we have to, once also do this with Mr. Landi, also to come here, and because he's such an interesting person. And
absolutely. And what brought Arturetto to my mind is when I told you about Sa'i, which is seeking and continued, continuously trying and moving and taking action. Our motto when we first started, because I used to work much more closer with Mr. Lendi when we started, the team was very small. We started with 3-4 people. We are now, plus 50. But at the time.
And you're opening a very large facility now.
Inshallah. But at the time, Mr. Lendi's motto was keep moving. We keep moving. So that's, I think.
And I think that's still his motto. No, he's
still, absolutely.
It's amazing to kind of hear this journey of risk taking from both of you. And I think you hit like a couple of very important points. One, the learning aspect of it. You said that you're learning from a baby. And I think you said that failure kind of. So I think it culminates well, because when you see children. Somebody who's a child who's learning to walk, they fall multiple times, they fail, but they have that aspect. So for me, what I believe is that God gave us an ability to take risks. Otherwise, nobody would learn to walk, because you cannot just learn to walk without falling down, right? So I think it is inbuilt and inherent within each child and each and every person from the day they were born, I think.
So I would add to this, if you want to learn swimming, you can't learn swimming without jumping into the water, without knowing the depth. I mean, that is how you learn swimming also.
Yeah, but Hamza, you are absolutely right, and I agree with you. It is innate in us, that ability to take risk. But what happens is, while we are brought up in the process of bringing up, schooling, the society around us, and even the corporate culture, that ability sometimes gets suppressed. And that's where the importance of what Sheikh Ali just said about the sterling ecosystem, to build a company that advocates, taking risk, which means tolerates failures, which means patience and long-term thinking, not always asking for immediate return on whatever you do. That's also, what I see at Man, big time, is because we are family owned and because we don't owe anyone any explanation. We work with our own money. We have higher ability to take risks than some of our larger competitors, because we can wait. And this is always what I saw and what I have experienced in the last 2 decades working at Man, is that they try, they do something, and they wait. They have the ability to wait and to give it another shot and another shot. So this safety, this creates a safe environment that actually is needed to nurture creativity, innovation, because innovation and creativity is also a kind of risk.
Absolutely. Innovation is something, implementing an idea can take you anywhere, okay? I mean, so if you really, anyone, it may be a newcomer, it may be an established person, everybody has to take a risk. And I think without risk, there is no risk.
And I see Ali, how innovative you have been at Sterling. All these new ideas. I sincerely, in this place, I feel there is no impossible. Every time I heard, for years, I heard you talking about makeup and color cosmetics, and then you did it. Cosmo, and the way Cosmo is growing, all these new product lines. This is all innovation. This is all risk. Every day in, day out.
Yeah, it's a very good point, Maysoon, you mentioned about the Cosmo and all. So, that was also a very challenging thing for me. If you see realistically, Hamza has been a witness here, and my wife, Shirin, has been always with me in this journey. And if you... we have been a fragrance company, right? But from fragrance to personal care is completely different, two different things, Two different beasts. Yeah, and Hamza, you would ask me that why did I go into the personal care, or why did I go into the color cosmetics? So here I would say that it was my learnings, my research, that when I'm always on the move, like when I go to a supermarket, I see. So my research, my studies showed me that the personal care business is 10 times larger than the fragrance business. So it was always on my mind, and I had built that I will take this risk, inshallah. And so with the time, as an opportunity came, I jumped into it, and I took a risk and started. Again, taking risk within my, like how you said, that within my budget, within our own money. So we are very strong believers of not taking interest, and we work in not overextending, and also never give interest or take interest. So this is our belief, and we work in a halal way. So that is something very important. And this opportunity of this personal care, I started in a small way, and then we were blessed with our Holiness blessing, and then with also the personal care business during the COVID.
So you were talking about kind of starting from small, for Cosmo, or for the personal care section, taking a calculated risk, growing. So
yeah.
how did you move forward, and how did you kind of make it into what it is today?
So when I started personal care, again I'll tell here two things, that when you take a risk, it is a risk of investment by money, and also investment of your time, effort, energy, which is also equal to your money. When you are in a business, that is so important. So and building the brand, I am a very strong believer that today building a brand is not so easy. That's a very big risk, because there is a lot of investment required. I mean, when you make a brand, you upfront invest in marketing. You need, risk in building the stocks, going into the international market, and it's a huge risk. So that was something which I believe strongly, and we started building the brands like Cosmo, Hamidi, Armaf, and many other brands. And Alhamdulillah, today we have been very successful with all the brands, and we are today distributing the more than 130 countries across the globe. And Alhamdulillah.
I think there's a very interesting story there also with cosmetics, where you said you had your research, you had your knowledge, you were waiting for the opportunity, you had already taken the risk, correct, of starting the business in a small way, in whatever capacity, and then COVID came, correct? COVID came, and it was a difficult time for everybody, within that, I think your risk-taking behavior and the gut that Maysoon, you were talking about, that knowledge that you've accumulated over time, I think it's a perfect example of like what of how I want you to tell that story.
So I think COVID was the biggest thing happened across the globe, which had shaken everybody in the world, and everybody was put in their rooms. And at that point of time, most of the industries were closed down, and people were jobless, and everyone knows what was going on. But at that point of time, there is always an opportunity in crisis. I strongly believe this. So, and like we say, the risk is there. You have to take the risk. Again, coming back to your subject. So in that scenario, there was a demand of sanitizers, and at that point of time, we did a research, and we formulated the sanitizer in the form of a spray, because there was a huge problem of getting the raw materials also, because the entire world was closed. So if you want to run the industry, you need to have raw materials. So that means it should be within your country. So again, the risk of one person is attached with the risk of so many people. So in that scenario, in the COVID, we, with the experience, this is again from Allah that He gave us tawfiq, and we did the research on making the spray, and we were able to develop that formula. And believe me, the local industries who was making the cans, who was supplying the raw material, everybody became active. And in this way, the doors open for risk for so many people. But again, we took risk. During the COVID, our people came to the factory for the production. Yes, of course, we took all the safety precautions. Of course, it was also about the business.
I think that it goes back a little bit even, because in 2018 or 2017, I think somewhere, he took that big decision. The company took a big decision to create a facility that can produce sanitizers, because obviously producing sanitizers requires a certain health code, that certain kind of facility that can produce it. He did not have in mind that COVID is going to come. He did not know that. But he just wanted to make a good facility where he can produce and grow. He had done his research that, okay, this is the kind of facility that we need. This will allow us to grow, but with no guarantee, like you said, Maysoon, that no guarantee that, there's going to be something coming out of this. Big investment, big money, huge space, time, people, a lot of people. And okay, it was starting, but he took the risk in time also. I think that's an important aspect as well, not delaying it too much. He took the risk in time and was able to, and so when COVID hit, we had the facility to do it. I think that was important. Then once we had the facility, we did not have the raw material. Again, like he said. So again, the creativity of thinking that, of finding a way to maximize your resources. Because if you create the sanitizer in a gel form, it uses a lot more raw material than creating it in a spray form. And the spray form had not been done before, right?
To use at that point of time, you cannot put a gel on everywhere.
Everywhere,
catching the handles or anywhere. So that was also an advantage.
So that creativity of taking a risk, and like you said, creativity is also part of risk. And then creating something that like really had not been created before, and and today, alhamdulillah, that has driven the whole company and the brand Cosmo and Sterling to kind of prominence within the region, and inshallah, like going forward as well. Two aspects that I kind of want to touch on. But like you said, that you feel like she is man. Like for you, she is man. She is the entrepreneur. She is the person who's driving the business, despite being an employee. Yeah. So I think it's a very important lesson, I think, from Maysoon that we want, and I kind of want you to expand on it as well, like how, despite being an employee, you've taken an entrepreneurial role. Is an amazing achievement that you've kind of done, and I kind of want you to expand on it a little bit.
So here I want to speak a lot about what is Rizq, because you might think of Rizq as the end product. Of course, leave the spiritual and emotional and social Rizq, the person I married, the kids that I have, this is all Rizq, but leave that aside. Let's talk about Rizq in a business perspective. Yep. So finally, it boils down to money, right? It's making wealth, creating money. But so this is one way, this is the end product, let's say. But actually, what I came to believe in over my experience in life is that Rizq starts with the people. The real Rizq is people, partners that come into your life to facilitate for you Rizq. You cannot make it alone, as I said before, and it's a whole network. And if you look back, we also need to be very grateful for those people who come into our life, and they bring and they facilitate for us finding our Rizq. So in that perspective, employers and employees and teachers in school who give you a recommendation that allows you a scholarship, or every single person who takes a risk on you, who at some point believes on you, and as we say in Arabic, puts their eggs in your basket. We say put the eggs in this basket, or don't put all your eggs in one basket, meaning diversify, and it's important for mitigating risk. So does it make sense to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
No, I've also noticed, Maysoon, that you have these characteristics. Like you are like an entrepreneur. Although you work for man, but you have an entrepreneurial quality, and the same thing you're passing on to your team, which is very good actually.
Yeah. So now what I wanted also to say here, the way I see employment and employers, I see it as a partnership. We Absolutely. Are, with my team and together with my bosses, we are working together, all together. We are part of one network.
One family.
Yes, one network, that's very important. The relationship is key, and it is where everything starts. If you don't appreciate people for who they are, if you don't have gratefulness to what others put in your way, you can't make it in life, whether it is in business or whether it is as an so it's the same basic concepts that apply in both cases. And I believe this is also, I really learned a lot working at Man from this, because I see the company is very relationship driven. There's always a human being on the other side that you appreciate and that you have concern for.
So you choose the right partner, yeah?
And this is,
so
this is client centricity, exactly. First,
so in the business, like, you have so many options,
exactly.
So many customers, so many suppliers, and again, you choose the right partner with you, and you work very closely with them and build from there, right?
Yeah, because it is, again, going to the codependence of Rizq, we don't make it alone, we codepend on each other. Your success is my success. Absolutely. And my success is Man's success.
I love your answer, because it's very inspiring for kind of everybody, whether they're working, whether they're not. It's to find the right partner, to kind of become a risk taker, become to find their feet, become an entrepreneur, within their field, however that is possible, by choosing the right partner.
And to put that relationship ahead, in front, because it's not only about me, as we said before. It's not a selfish, quest for power or for money. It is all about also caring for all the stakeholders, because we are in it together. So
I think we've gone quite long, and there's just one final question that I want to ask. I'm just starting my journey. Should I invest all my money in some project and just go eyes shut, deep end directly? If I want to start a business tomorrow, there's a lot of people here. I want to start a business, I want to start a job, I want to start something, I want to do something. I have a passion, whether that be, in a creative field, in a business field, an accounting field, wherever, should I just invest all my money? Should I just blindly jump in? Where should I draw the line as to okay, this much amount of risk? And it's a very complicated question, and I think we might not have enough time to kind of explore it fully. But is it okay to make that mistake right now? Is it not okay? Should I play it safe? What is kind of your view on this subject?
I think today's generation, if in today's time we see, your question applies to different persons. And different categories. Example, if I may say, in your case, so your case is different. Like, you have a legacy, and you may be thinking, how would I drive my business of my father? Okay, that is something on your mind. Somebody is a newcomer and then who wants to start. In your case, I think first thing is you have to believe in yourself. Don't think that you want to be like me. You explore. See, you have studied yourself. You have studied in UK. You have studied in Islamic Jamia University. So you have to believe in yourself that you have lots of knowledge. So believe in yourself. Work with honesty. Dedication, also discipline plays a very important role. And believe me, you will go much ahead of me. Okay, you may call me a successful, but okay, I am a successful, but there is a plateau. Maybe I am on the base camp. If you want to climb Mount Everest, okay, there are so many base camps. So probably I am on the base camp. The peak is still very high. So think about that peak. Don't think about the base. I am at the base camp. Think about the peak, and believe me, you will achieve. So again, here, you have money, you have knowledge, you have everything. Work hard on it, do research, believe in yourself, and take risk. And for the risk, leave it on him. He will give you the risk, whatever is written. But again, I am telling you, no overnight millionaire. Work hard with honesty, with dedication. And in the other cases, there might be newcomers, people, somebody who has just finished his studies. And also I would advise them that they should also really believe in themselves. Believing is very important. When you have learned something, believe in yourself, work towards it. You may fall, get up, move on. Don't get disappointed by failure. Like, failure is also a part of risk, which gives you teaching. So I believe it's very important that work hard, fold your sleeves, okay, jump into it, be brave, and work hard.
I think you touched a very important point, I think, which kind of underlined, which you said, like, keep working. And I think Maysoon also mentioned it earlier. Like, I think the consistent risk taking, rather than one big risk and then just waiting for it to, like the overnight millionaire thing, like, oh, I invest everything in a cryptocurrency and now I'm just waiting. Like, but rather, like, consistently working. Even if you are trading, then consistently trading. Or if you are working, then consistently working. Consistently taking, like, a certain level of risk and trying to keep moving forward. Sometimes you will fall, sometimes. I think it's a very good answer. Maysoon, do you have anything to?
There is a concept in innovation that is quite well established that looks at what you can afford to lose. So I think you need to consider that, Today, so can I afford to lose this, for example? Is it my house? Is it, something smaller, or larger? And as your father rightly mentioned, it's also depends where you come from, the background, the particular situation. But in any situation, I think a good start is to assess what can you lose, and you'll still survive, you'll still have another chance. I think this can be a good sense of direction to, how far, or,
I agree with you, Maysoon.
And you need also to consider, all stakeholders. Actually, the earlier you take risks, it's also, that young people they have a higher risk appetite. This risk appetite reduces by life because of age, because of maturity, because of, and I think it's very important that the young people keep taking risk, because they can afford to lose more when you are at your 25 than when you are at your 45. So these mistakes that we make at the beginning, they are learnings. We have plenty of time to fix them and to adjust and to start all over again. So the cost of opportunity is different also with age. So I do 100%. I encourage you to take risk, think, what can I afford to lose, and just keep moving.
I think I will mention something here. Like, I've been very inspired by also by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, the ruler of Dubai, who also has been a very big visionary and a big risk taker. I mean, if you see, I'm sure you must have seen his interviews many a times, where a lot of people ask him, Your Highness, why do you always say that you want to have the tallest tower in the world, the longest, the biggest, everything? And he just replied, very simple. He said, why not? So you see, that man has the courage to take the risk. And I strongly believe in that, And Our Holiness also always advises that in the business you have to be a warrior. Be brave and jump into the business to have and leave the rest to Allah. He will give you the risk. So this is also, I would like to give an advice to everyone, be brave. Don't be scared.
We need the young people to believe in themselves and to have a vision and to move on it and to take risk. We need to encourage them. It's very important, because that's what will make our world. We have too many problems to try and solve today. The environment, poverty globally. We are not yet there. There are a lot of, AI. How is AI going to impact our lives? There's a lot for us to think about, and we need the young people and their ability to take risk, their courage, to find solutions, innovative solutions. That's why I really believe that the educational system and families at home. And that's the beauty and the privilege, Hamza, of being brought up in a house like the Fakhruddin's house, because you have this a bit, as you Sheikh Ali said, in the DNA, in the heritage of the family. It's passed from generation to generation, and that's also what I see at Man. Now we are moving, Mr. Man is going to retire at the end of the year. He has announced already, and Samantha is going to, Miss Man is going to take over from 2025 beginning. So it's a fifth generation that is coming into the equation, and the ability of the fifth generation to come in with a full commitment to what has been built, to the legacy and the values of the family, and to build on it, because we need obviously to build on it. That courage is a key piece.
I think one point that you mentioned, I loved it. Like, find out how much you can lose. If you have defined that, okay, this much amount I can live, if I lose, I can still survive. Then I think then it comes to that, your point where, like, take that risk.
Yes.
Be willing to lose that for what you're going to get.
I will add one last one. Don't think only of yourself when you assess the situation and make that decision. Think of everyone who's dependent on you.
Who all are connected with you.
Because you are, we are all together. That's.
I think should we close? I think it has been a very engaging and wonderful conversation. Maysoon, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Dr. Ali, for being a part of this again. And hopefully next time we'll not wait 8 months to do this again. We'll do it a little bit.
One last thing I want to tell you is again inspiration from His Highness. What is the biggest risk?
Life, maybe, to risk one's life. Maybe, I don't know.
The biggest risk is not taking the risk.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. Very well said.
I think that is a perfect note to end on.
Absolutely.
And hopefully we'll do this again soon. Thank you very much, Maysoon. Thank you. And we wish everyone a very Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and very, very Happy New Year. And hopefully here's to a lot more bravery and risk-taking, and a lot more Rizq also for everyone in 2025, inshallah.
Wish you all a very Happy New Year, and with lots of prayers. May Allah bless everyone with lots of Rizq, and please don't forget to take the risk.
That's nice, yes. Yes, indeed. Very Merry Christmas and happy end of year for everyone. It's holiday season, and I think for all those who are celebrating, it's a precious time to spend with family and loved ones. So we wish you all the best, and we hope for a much better 2025 for everyone, with
Inshallah.
peace, inshallah, hopefully all over, and with a lot of prosperity.
And happiness.
Absolutely, absolutely.